Hello and welcome to the news update on Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Barbayo. Tensions deepen in Kano as Governor Yusuf's camp drifts toward APC. Nigeria and UAE sign landmark economic partnership to boost trade. APC response to Peter Obi says Tinubu is not missing or absent from duty. Peter Obi urges Tinubu to suspend implementation of controversial tax laws. Tinubu brings Investopia to Lagos, seals strategic trade pact with UAE. Kano State suspends 3 hospital staff after surgical blunder led to death. 2027 showdown in Abia as ex-governors regroup against Otti. And now the news in full. The political atmosphere in Kano State has grown increasingly volatile as signals strengthen that Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf's inner circle is actively moving towards the All Progressives Congress (APC). This potential shift, reported on Monday, January 12, 2026, marks a deepening of the rift between the governor and his erstwhile political mentor, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. Insiders suggest that the drift is a tactical move to consolidate the governor's power and secure federal support, especially as the internal friction within the new Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) becomes untenable. While a formal declaration has yet to be made, the visible alignment of key stakeholders in the governor's camp with APC's leadership has sent the Kano political space into a frenzy. For the APC, absorbing a sitting governor of a strategic state like Kano would represent a massive electoral coup. Conversely, for the Kwankwaso movement, this represents a significant threat to its long-standing dominance in the region. Security forces are reportedly on high alert in the state to prevent any outbreaks of violence between rival party supporters as the rumors of his high-stakes defection continue to circulate. Following President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's arrival in Abu Dhabi, Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates have officially signed a landmark economic partnership agreement designed to exponentially increase trade and bilateral investments. This agreement, finalized on Monday, January 12, serves as a comprehensive framework for cooperation in key sectors including renewable energy, digital technology and agricultural exports. The partnership is expected to eliminate several trade barriers that have historically hindered smooth economic exchange between the two nations. A centerpiece of the deal is a commitment from the UAE to invest heavily in Nigeria's infrastructure, specifically targeting the expansion of sustainable energy projects and the modernization of Nigerian ports. On its part, Nigeria has committed to creating a more streamlined regulatory environment for Emirati investors. President Tinubu described the signing as a new dawn for Nigeria's economic diplomacy, asserting that the partnership will create thousands of jobs and provide the necessary capital to drive the country's industrialization agenda. This deal is viewed as a major victory for the Tinubu administration's efforts to integrate Nigeria into the global economic mainstream. The All Progressives Congress (APC) has rejected assertions by former presidential candidate Peter Obi that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is missing or absent from governance amid economic and security challenges, insisting that the president remains fully engaged in running the country. The party's rebuttal came in a statement on January 13, 2026, issued by Seyi Oladijo, APC spokesperson in Lagos. In its response, the APC emphasized that Tinubu is not missing nor is he absent from his constitutional responsibilities, saying governance should not be judged by public visibility alone, but by the quality of policy decisions, security oversight, economic reforms initiatives, and diplomatic engagements undertaken domestically and internationally. Oladijo stated that the president's schedule is driven by national priorities rather than political narratives around optics and appearances. The party urged political actors, particularly opposition figures, to engage in constructive discourse by offering solutions to national issues instead of fueling speculation about leadership absence. APC highlighted ongoing work across economic reforms, national security coordination, and international diplomacy as evidence that the administration continues to discharge its mandate effectively. Obi's comments, which triggered the APC statement, stem from concerns he raised about Tinubu's perceived low public profile and Nigeria's deepening socio-economic difficulties, including hardship and insecurity. The governing party's rebuttal reflects intensifying political exchanges ahead of the 2027 general elections and underscores a broader debate over political leadership, accountability, and public communication. Former Labour Party presidential candidate and current African Democratic Congress presidential hopeful Peter Obi has called on President Bola Tinubu to suspend implementation of Nigeria's recently enacted tax laws, warning that the new regime contains serious drafting flaws, policy inconsistencies, and administrative gaps that could harm citizens and businesses. Obi's appeal was made in a post on his verified X account on January 13, 2026. Obi referenced an analysis by global consulting firm KPMG Nigeria, which identified 31 critical problem areas in the tax laws, including drafting errors, policy contradictions, and gaps that require closed-door discussions between regulators and tax professionals just to interpret. He argued that such complexity and lack of transparency undermines public confidence and threatens economic growth because ordinary Nigerians and business owners are left unclear about what the new tax obligations mean. Describing taxation as a social contract between government and citizens, Obi said enforcement of these laws without broad public consultation or clear communication breaches trust and could deepen hardship for already strained households. He warned that the current approach prioritizing revenue collection over understanding and consensus risk making citizens feel penalized rather than being served by policy. We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global, we don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced that Nigeria will co-host Investopia, a global investment platform with the United Arab Emirates (UAE) in Lagos this February, as part of efforts to attract international capital and deepen economic ties. The announcement was made on January 13, 2026 at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week in the UAE, where Nigeria also concluded a comprehensive economic partnership agreement CEPA with the Emirates. The CEPA, signed by President Tinubu and the UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, is aimed at strengthening cooperation across renewable energy, infrastructure, logistics, digital trade, aviation, agriculture, and climate-smart development while creating enduring economic opportunities for both countries. Tinubu described Investopia Lagos as a pivotal reform that will bring together global investors, innovators, policymakers, and business leaders to turn ideas into actionable investment projects. He emphasized that the initiative aligns with Nigeria's ongoing economic reforms and its drive to mobilize up to $30 billion annually in climate and green industrial finance to accelerate energy transition and broaden investment inflows. The partnership reflects Abuja's strategy to diversify foreign partnerships, boost non-oil revenue streams, and enhance bilateral cooperation with key global partners, positioning Nigeria as a hub for sustainable investment in Africa. The Kano State government has suspended 3 staff members of the Abubakar Imam Urology Center following a surgical error that resulted in the death of a mother of 5, Aisha to Umar. The decision, announced on January 13th, underscores rising concerns over medical negligence and quality of care in public health facilities. According to the Kano State Hospitals Management Board, the disciplinary action follows reports that surgical instruments were allegedly left inside the patient's body, exacerbating her condition after an earlier procedure. Umar's family had accused the center of substandard care that they believe contributed directly to her death. The suspension affects the personnel directly involved in the incident, while authorities conduct a formal investigation into the circumstances of the surgical blunder and broader clinical practices at the facility. The board's move is part of a stated commitment to enforce accountability and uphold professional standards in state-run hospitals. Healthcare advocates have welcomed the government's action but are arguing speedy, transparent inquiry proceedings to ensure justice and prevent similar tragedies. Families and civil society groups are also calling for improved oversight, training and regulatory frameworks to safeguard patients' rights and strengthen public confidence in the health system. Political tensions in Abia State are escalating as anticipation builds for the 2027 governorship election, with reports that former governors and other political heavyweights are regrouping to mount a challenge against incumbent Governor Alex Chioma Otti. The development has thrust the state's political landscape into a high-stakes contest between the old political order and the current administration. According to multiple political sources, a closed-door meeting in Umuahia brought together former Abia governors, including Senator Oji Uzo Kalu and Senator Theodore Oji, who are initiating conversations about a unified front to reclaim political influence ahead of the 2027 polls. That gathering is widely perceived as an early strategic alignment to oppose Otti's re-election. Governor Otti, however, has dismissed the purported coalition as noise and insists that it will not derail his agenda or political momentum. He characterized the actions of his predecessors as motivated by self-interest rather than welfare of Abia people, and urged residents to focus on ongoing development and governance initiatives rather than elite political posturing. Supporters of Otti, such as federal lawmakers Honorable Amobi Oga, have returned fire against the alleged alliance, declaring that nothing can stop Otti's second-term ambition and that key local government areas, particularly in Abia North, remain firmly in his camp ahead of the 2027 elections. The simmering political rivalry underscores deeper fault lines in Abia's evolving party dynamics. Otti, who emerged from the Labour Party and defeated the long-dominant People's Democratic Party in 2023, represents a break from the state's traditional political leadership. His administration has focused on fiscal discipline, civil service reform and infrastructural renewal, gains that many Abians see as a sharp contrast to the years of stagnation under previous administrations. As 2027 draws closer, Abia's political theatre is shaping into a showdown between the incumbent governor who ran on change and the former political establishment seeking to reclaim power, setting the stage for one of the most closely watched contests in the southeast ahead of the next election cycle. And that brings us to the end of the news on Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Thanks for joining us.